Real quick before we get into the review, just gotta thank the people over on Patreon, because without their support, a lot of this upgraded content you see on the channel would not be possible. And I gotta say, on top of being able to respond to you guys in the DMs, you know, one of the fun things about the Patreon is every 3 months we do an anime and manga haul, and there's a lot of good goodies in that one. You also get sneak peeks at videos that haven't made their way onto the channel yet. I'm still figuring out what to do for actual YouTube memberships, so leave a suggestion down in the comment section below. But with that being said, thank you so much for all of you guys' support, and now let's get into the review. Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys a review for Boruto episode 212, and hands down, no cap, I'm saying it right now, this is about to be the best fight that you've seen in the Boruto series so far. Hands down, anybody that's read the manga, I don't think you're gonna find too many people that are gonna disagree with the fact that Kashin Koji versus Jigen, out of all the fights we've had in the manga so far, this is the best written, and this is the most creative fight that we've seen in the actual franchise so far. Unlike the previous fights that we've had where the animes adapted stuff from the manga and the animes had to bend over backwards in order to actually save the fight, like how they did with Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen, Naruto and Sasuke versus Momoshiki, even doing all this build up in order to make Boruto versus Shoujoji a lot better than it was in the manga. The fact is that what you're getting right now, they don't have to change much of anything. They just need to adapt it how it is in the manga, maybe add in a few sequences here or there. Other than that, that fight is good to go, and man, I'm telling you right now, I've waited a year to see this. It's been like a year and a few months. Matter of fact, I remember the actual time when this came out. I had a lot going on when Kashin Koji versus Jigen came out. You had that battle taking place in May and June of 2020, and I gotta say, man, like, I've been looking forward to this fight. So just backing up a little bit, now that I've hyped up next week's episode for you, backing up, I gotta say, dude, I thought that they did a good job as far as with the pacing of this episode, where essentially you open up and you see how Amado and Kashin Koji are talking, and Amado says like, yeah, you know, I'll be able to complete my research over there at Konoha, no worries, it's all thanks to the information that you gather in Konoha, which goes back to what I said. Once this new director took over and we saw how he was handling the transition episodes, I said, hey, those quote-unquote filler episodes that people said they're gonna skip, I said, hey, that's me a bad idea, because those transition episodes directly tie into the manga and they're gonna backdoor reference what happened. That's exactly what happened right here. So if you skip the last few episodes, you don't know that Kashin Koji stole information from Konoha, and there was a whole build up for it. So once again, big shouts out to this director for just tying in the stuff right there to basically where it's actually making the events of this episode here hold more weight to it, because you've seen the actual development that the characters have gotten. So I love what you're getting right there. I also love the fact that, you know, when Delta goes to confront them, Kashin Koji, he's getting ready to swap hands, which that should tell you right there, Kashin Koji is like, look, I'll take care of Delta. They were pressed for time, yet Kashin Koji thought that he could handle Delta. I've seen people say that Delta and Koji are somewhat relative to each other. The way that he was acting lets you know that, like, hey, I can handle this chick if I need to. So that right there should start giving you an idea of like, yo, Kashin Koji ain't shit to play with. The same thing when it comes to Amado. Amado has a verbal kill switch inside of Delta. Right now, Delta only has one more body left, and that's a thing that the manga hasn't ever addressed at this point. So I wouldn't worry too much about what's going to happen to the character Delta. Right now, she's down to one body, and we don't know what's going to happen with that final body. However, what I like here is that, you know, Kashin Koji, he pauses when he sees how quickly Delta goes down, and Koji immediately is like, okay, like, Amado's inside my Toad summoning. He does the reverse Ninja Toad summoning, has Amado summoned to Konoha, and as Amado's interacting with the Inashikacho trio, essentially Kashin Koji's thinking, does he have something like that inside of me? And that's one of the things I like about the character of Amado, is that he's got contingency plans. Like, he knows, like, I'm in an organization with these super powerful people that have been turned into cyborgs that could crush me anytime they want to. Jigen could crush me if he wanted to, but he's got those kill switches built into the car members, meaning the only one he needed to worry about was actually Jigen. So you're essentially seeing what would happen if there was an evil version of Shikamaru. Just as Shikamaru has all these contingency plans and backup plans, Amado's much in the same way. I know somebody's gonna be typing, well, if all the car members have kill switches like that, why doesn't he actually do that for Jigen? Well, like I said during the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen battle, the worst thing you can do is actually kill Jigen. There's a reason why Amado has not had Jigen killed yet. Now, there's some other stuff that hasn't been revealed in the actual anime that we're dealing with right now in the actual manga that has not been fully addressed yet, so I don't want to go any further. So just getting back to the actual episode, I like how this episode kind of opened up with the Ina Shikacho trio actually going through and training, and you have Moegi basically saying like it's unusual for them to want to train this hard so soon, and it's because they failed to catch Kashi and Koji. So I like the brief training sequence. I like the fact that once again it's the transition episode that directly sets this up. So I like again that that's tied into it right there. And the training sequence itself is just a battle royale. It's not anything super impressive. I was never impressed with it in the manga. The same thing with the anime. But what I will say is that I like how when Amado shows up, Amado is making small talk, and the guy is kind of coming off like he's like a caffeine addict. And if you are familiar with the manga, in the manga, Amado's just like Shikamaru. He's somebody that he's always got to have a cigarette in his mouth. He loves to smoke. But just as Shikamaru was censored in the Naruto Shippuden anime, not really smoking, especially when Asuma died, he didn't have a cigarette in his mouth then, or he wasn't smoking a cigarette when he was killing Hidan. A lot of the times in the anime, when you catch Shikamaru and he has that lighter in his hands, he was usually smoking in the manga. Just as that was censored then, you're getting it censored now, and that's a whole nother video in of itself. They're doing it for a very specific reason. However, I just always found it funny that Amado's going to be a Starbucks drinker, for better or worse. So very cool to actually see how Amado gets in there, and he basically turns the tables on Shikadai and that team and incapacitates them. He puts a bomb around Shikadai's neck, and he basically is looking at Moegi when she returns, and she's got him in the earth release jutsu. So we've once again seen her use water release in the past. Now we've seen her actually use earth release, so like seeing that. But he looks at Moegi and he's like, look, I've got a bomb. That bomb will go off. Do not test my patience right now. And to show Moegi inside that he means business, he detonates a bomb that is on a branch. The next bomb will be on Shikadai if you guys piss me off. And what I love here is the fact that as this is going on, you have in the Hokage office where Katasuke is basically telling Naruto like, look, you know, we need somebody from Kara. We need their technology and information because Kawaki's body's breaking down. Because Kawaki, people keep forgetting this, even though the anime says it like 9,000 times. Kawaki is a cyborg. We saw him as a little kid, but his body was modified and his body requires regular maintenance, just like the other Kara members who are also cyborgs. That's why Boro and the rest of them had to come in for maintenance. It was also an opportunity to actually investigate them to find out who the actual traitor was, but their bodies require regular maintenance because their human bodies have been shoved full of scientific ninja weapon tech and nanomachines. Everything just conveniently happens to slap in place for Amado, and that's a very common theme that is going to continue running forward right there. And I like how you get this moment to where Shikamaru looks over at Amado and he's like, man, I'm really getting tired of your shit right now. And you have it where Shikamaru is losing his patience very quickly, and that's when you see the father side of Shikamaru. And that's the thing I've always appreciated when we got these chapters, when these chapters are coming out, was, you know, we've seen Shikamaru as the advisor. However, once his son has been taken hostage, he's not even thinking straight at this point. He's losing his cool. And when you're in a situation like that where you're being emotionally charged, you're not able to actually think straight. And I like how Naruto looks at the situation and he tells Amado to cut the games, because Amado came to them saying, I will betray Kara, I will betray Jigen, I will tell you everything you need to know about Kara, about the Ten Tails, the Otsutsuki clan, I will give you all the information about our technology. I just need you guys to protect me, because essentially essentially if Jigen finds me, I'm a dead man. If you don't take me in, I'm gonna be killed, and you're gonna be killed because you don't have this information I can give. And so Naruto knows that essentially he's got to get down to business with Amado, and he needs to maintain a position of power. But Naruto's also somebody that can read the situation enough to know that while Amado has information that they need, Amado has a smug expression on his face, and if he's calculated things up to a point such as this, they can't actually take him lightly. And that's why Naruto calms Shikamaru down, and that's also why you see two very cold and calculated people in Sasuke and Sai inside that room as well, because Shikamaru is compromised, and it makes sense. His son has a bomb around his neck, so you can't expect Shikamaru to make the best decision at this point. And I like the fact that Naruto took all those precautions just in those few quick moments where he had to make a split-second decision. You're actually seeing the actual forethought going through this, where Naruto's like, okay, my right-hand man is not going to be in his right state of mind. I need two other people who can make up for what he brings to the table. So you're seeing a side of Hokage Naruto that I absolutely love, and this is great setup because essentially we get an opportunity where we get foreshadowing on what else is going on with Amado, because we see very briefly how Amado has a message coming in from Kashin Koji, how Koji is showing the events that are transpiring. Essentially in that moment right there, Amado looks over at the glasses and the glasses activate. Amado has things about him that have not actually been revealed in the anime yet that we're still finding out in the manga right now. So I like how that was a little nod to that right there. And you have this conversation between Jigen and Kashin Koji before they begin to dust up, where Jigen's like, look man, I need to know. Like, I know you and Amado were the ones betraying me. I know you guys essentially set Kawaki free. I just want to know what made you think you're gonna get away with this. And essentially he's letting them know, like, I'm gonna kill you, but I'm gonna give you a chance to make this right too. And essentially Kashin Koji is like, look, I was specifically programmed to kill you. And I love that right there, because essentially Koji knows he's being used as a tool, but he also is looking at the situation. He's like, look, I know the true threat that you're posing, and you ain't about to have this go off. And you get this beautiful sequence where Koji throws the shuriken and Jigen gets behind him. He shrinks down, gets behind him, and then he reappears behind Koji and stabs this guy, but it ends up being a shadow clone. So that's your first sign right there that this battle with Jigen and Kashin Koji, even though Jigen's not at full power, unlike Naruto and Sasuke, Kashin Koji's going into this fight with prep time, and he's going into this fight with an actual strategy in mind. So you're gonna see a completely different battle right here. That's why in my video on why Naruto and Sasuke lost, and I said that they weren't nerfed, which I recommend checking it out if you're still having some PTSD or you need some one-on-one counseling session time to understand why they got completely dog slapped. I specifically said that Jigen was a walking counter to their entire ninja arsenal, and I said there's a very specific way you have to combat Jigen. You're going to see that in this Kashin Koji versus Jigen battle. And you're also going to see why I said you do not want to defeat Jigen. If you defeat Jigen, you just open up Pandora's box. I mean, overall, this was a cool episode. I'm very curious to know what you guys think. If you're a manga reader, how do you appreciate this build up and the fact that the anime is actually tying in stuff that's going on currently in the manga? And if you're an anime only fan, what are your thoughts on Amado joining Konoha? Did Amado go too far putting a bomb on Shikadai's neck? Should we just charge it up to it being part of the game? Shikadai's a ninja. He tried to apprehend somebody who was going into the village illegally, and essentially he ended up being like Goldberg's son last night at SummerSlam, where Bobby Lashley put Goldberg's son into the Hurt Lock and essentially he choked out his son. The same thing happened here, only in this case Shikamaru's more well-liked than Goldberg. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Have an awesome day, guys.